Say hi. Oh, Rev's saying hi. Good job, Rev. Hey guys, so today I'm here to do a meet Aerilee. I know I originally said I was going to do it at 2 weeks postpartum and when she was 2 weeks old, but Aerilee ended up having a lot of issues shortly after that. So Aerilee was born on April 11th at 12:16 p.m. She was 8 pounds, 10 ounces, so she was 1 ounce less than her sister, and she was 22 inches long, which was an inch longer than her sister. I am going to do a birth story for you guys, but I'm going to upload that separately. I was going to include it in this video. I actually already started talking about it, like I've already recorded it, and it was too long, so I'm just going to put it up as a separate video for you guys. So Aerilee is sleeping this video right there, so I'm just going to let her sleep and I will show you guys her at the end. I probably included some footage of her at the beginning too. But basically the first week and a half, I would say, Aerilee was great. She never really cried except if she was hungry. She mainly just slept or was awake, just kind of looking around for not very long. But she did have a lot of issues with acid reflux as well because of how quickly I pushed her out. She also was not able to get all the amniotic fluid out of her. That's something that naturally kind of works out of them while you're in the pushing process, but because she came out so quickly, she didn't have a chance to get that out. So from the very beginning, we've had her bed at an angle to help with that because she was spitting up a lot of amniotic fluid in the beginning. And then it kind of just switched over to her spitting up pretty much everything she ate. So in that first week and a half though, she really wasn't that bad. She had the spitting up problem, but she wasn't super cranky at all. And then she started just being very upset. Basically, she was either on the boob, she was sleeping, or she was crying. There was no amount of time that she was awake, really, that she was happy. And she would not let anybody hold her except me. Like, even if she was asleep and I tried to hand her to someone else, she would quickly wake up and then just start screaming. So I could get nothing done, which is why there was no video up for you guys. Because we're moving right now, which is super exciting, and I'm going to have a lot of cool organization videos, hopefully as long as my kids allow me to film them for you guys on this channel with the new house. But we are moving to a new rental house, and so we're trying to move. There's like no clean area in our apartment right now. It's just kind of a mess and a maze. And so between that, trying to obviously give Revelyn attention, and then Aerilee not letting me put her down, I couldn't film at all. We had time to film our vlog because that's just like day in the life, and I could edit all of my vlogs because when I'm breastfeeding her and stuff, I can edit no problem while I'm holding her. But anyways, I didn't have time to film these videos. So enough of that. Basically though, she wouldn't let me do anything. And it was exhausting. I couldn't bond with her pretty much because she was either screaming in my arms when she was awake or she was breastfeeding, and like, you can bond when you breastfeed as well, but I was just so exhausted because she was literally on the boob every second. It was like I'd feed her, put her down, and 10 minutes later she'd want to eat again. And she was eating plenty. She actually gained an entire pound in a week. From her 2-week appointment to her, or from her 1 week to her 2-week appointment, she had gained an entire pound. So she was eating plenty. And the issue was that she would want to comfort feed and she won't take a pacifier. She is the complete opposite of her sister, even though she looks a lot like her. She won't take a pacifier. She doesn't want to fall asleep on her own. She doesn't want to stay awake like just in a boppy or something like that. She will not sleep on her back. She just wants to sleep on her side, which is a SIDS risk. I threw caution to the wind because in my eyes, I saw myself as more of a risk to my child with very little sleep. So she'll sleep 2.5 to 4 hours if she's on her side, whereas if she's on her back, she would sleep maybe 10 minutes and then she'd wake up screaming and crying. I'd have to feed her again and start the cycle all over again. And I was losing my patience because I had no sleep, and I was just like, I am more of a risk to my kids having 0 sleep than she is laying on her side because of the SIDS risk percentage being so small. And so I was like, I'm laying her on her side. My child, that's what we're doing. So that's what we do. Revelyn is throwing things in the room now. So since though that I have laid her on her side, it also helps with her acid reflux, which I've noticed as well. I at least don't have her on her stomach. She's just on her side, which is a lot safer than her being on her stomach. And she's just been so much better now. She's not spitting up like in the middle of the night. That was another thing, is her sleeping on her back. She'd constantly be spitting up, and so it'd just be like all over her. And that's also a worry, you know, if they could choke on it or whatever, which people say like it's not really worry. It still worries me, but her being on her side, at least if she spits up, it comes right out. But really, she doesn't ever spit up laying on her side, which is great. So fast forward, I took out dairy out of my diet, and now it is like a new baby. I had to take dairy out of my diet with Revelyn as well, so I wasn't super shocked by it, and when I noticed she was having gas issues, she was having colic issues and acid reflux, I was like, okay, it's probably dairy. Hi, Rev. Within like a day and a half, she was a whole new baby. She would be awake and happy and let others hold her, and so it's just been so much better. It sucks because I love dairy a lot, and with Rev though, she was not as bad as Aerilee was. She had gas problems, but she didn't have the acid reflux, but her gas problems with dairy weren't nearly as bad as with Aerilee. So the no dairy diet is not really new to me. I have had to do it, like I said, but it's still not fun because I just love cheese so much. But I do remember that getting off dairy helped a lot in the baby weight loss, just because dairy really isn't good for you in the first place. So that'll be nice, at least that's a perk. I've only been off dairy now though for, I think like 5 days or something, like a week, around 5 days a week or something like that. So besides that though, Aerilee is a really good baby now that I am off dairy. She's been doing really, really well. She still has her cranky little times. She is a newborn, so that's normal. So postpartum wise, I am doing really good. So you guys will see in my birth vlog that I sort of had a little bit of a natural delivery due to my body metabolizing the epidural. And so I bounced back super fast. I was up doing stuff, no problem. But it was probably around day 5 postpartum that I started getting a lot of pain because I did have a 2nd-degree tear, and so that was not comfortable at all. I did kind of expect a tear because I tore with Rev too, but I think I had a 3rd-degree tear with Revelyn, but I can't remember. It was a lot more painful recovery-wise with Revelyn than it was with Aerilee, which was a blessing because this time I have to care for 2 kids instead of 1. But seriously, recovery's been so much better this time. I had days here and there where like my back was really bad. The afterbirth contractions that you get, a lot of people don't realize that you still have contractions after you give birth. They're a lot worse with the more kids you have. They get more painful. And you have them also every time you breastfeed for like that first week or 2. So that was probably one of the more painful things, was the afterbirth contractions, honestly. Bleeding wise, sorry TMI, I'm pretty much done. I'm down to light days now, and so I'm 4 weeks postpartum. This time around, for whatever reason, my doctor said that I only have 5 weeks for like no working out, no sex, things like that. Which I'm not complaining. I don't know why it's only 5 weeks, because even if you don't care, the majority, are you having fun? For most people, it's 6 weeks, but he said 5 weeks. I'm not gonna second guess him. And so, but last time I was still bleeding at 6 weeks, just a little bit. I think I was wearing light days, and now at 4 weeks, I go like a day here and there where I don't bleed at all, and then I'll have a little bit of bleeding. But this time around though was so much less bleeding than with Rev. She is so loud. You are loud. You're hyper. I'm just tickling. I think the hardest thing postpartum this time, and I'm going to be a little raw and candid with you guys, is the feeling comfortable in my body again. So this time around, my body did not go back the way that it did with Rev. Honestly, with Revelyn, I felt like my stomach was flatter and better looking after giving birth to her than before I got pregnant. And this time around, I feel like I have a little bit of a mommy pooch, and I didn't lose weight the same way that I did with Rev. I also didn't gain as much weight though this pregnancy, which could be why it's harder to get off. Like with Revelyn, by 5 days postpartum, I think I gained a total of 38 pounds. By 5 days, I was already down 22 pounds. And I think by 3 months postpartum, I was down to my pre-pregnancy weight. This time around, I have only lost 15 pounds so far at 4 weeks postpartum, which still by no means, and by the way, I'm just going to preface, I'm not saying by any means that I'm fat or anything like that, but I am a real woman and I have body confidence issues just like everybody else. And so I guess just this time around, I expected to just, like, I knew that I wasn't going to bounce back as well because 2 kids is a lot more on your body, but I expected to lose more weight than I did. I have always held a little bit of extra weight. I think that I hide it fairly well, I hope. My healthy weight is between 120 and 130. Before getting pregnant with Rev, I was 150. Before getting pregnant with Aerilee, I was 155. I weigh right now, I weigh about 170, so I really am like 40 pounds overweight. And so it is a little discouraging to know that as much as like I'm not a numbers person, I don't usually like to focus on the numbers. I want to just get my body to a point where I feel happy and healthy. It's hard not to sometimes, especially when my doctor, every time I go, he says, you should probably lose like 5 pounds. And my doctor is a really nice guy. I love him to death. But he's honest. And now though, I haven't seen him since my 2 pregnancies because I pretty much was pregnant back to back. He's gonna tell me I need to lose like 10 or 15. So that's just kind of something I'm working through right now, is just feeling happy in my body, and I am headed hopefully in the direction of getting back to a healthy weight and feeling confident in my body. That's the main thing, is I don't want to focus on the number as much as I just want to focus on looking in the mirror and being happy with what I see. And so Ryan and I have made a pact that as soon as we move in to the new house, which we are moving, by the way, we get the keys this weekend, we move the following weekend, but we are moving into a new house, and we made a pact that we were going to be giving up a lot of bad stuff. And so it's gonna be difficult for us. We are big food people, but we've kind of decided that we're done just saying we're gonna be healthy, and we want to actually do it. We've already made big leaps and bounds with our healthy eating at home right now, but like when we move into the new house, it's gonna be like a total overhaul with our food habits. So, and then as soon as I hit my 5 weeks, I also am going to be starting to work out. I'm going to try. I'm going to be in a house, which means I can take the kids on walks. So at minimum, Rev, she's trying to open a thing of diapers. So at minimum, I'm going to be able to at least take the girls on walks. At the very least. So that'll be very nice. Yeah, baby sister. Be gentle, okay? Give a kiss. Mwah. Good job. As you can see, Rev does really well with her. Sometimes she's a little rough and she'll like grab or hit, not like knowingly. But she really loves baby sister. She's a very good big sister. She is actually like way more helpful than I thought a 16-month-old would be able to be. Like I said, like she'll bring her burp cloth to me and her blanket to me, the boppy to me. She understands like those things and will help out quite a bit. Ow! I grabbed Mama's hair. Rev just had like a week or so when she was super clingy to Ryan, and that was really it. But otherwise, she does good. Hey. Oh, you're awake. You're awake. See, she's awake and she's not crying. It's like seriously night and day difference, guys, with the no dairy. She is like a sweaty sleeper. As soon as pretty much every time she wakes up, her head's like just sweaty. So I forgot to end it, but that is going to be it for the Meet Aerilee. I hope, ooh, we just had a big poop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next week as always. Bye.